Hello YouTube, I'm Howard Grant. Welcome back to my channel. I had promised you in a previous video that the next video was going to involve 40 gallons of RV antifreeze, and I left it up to you to decide what you thought I was going to do to it. But anyway, I ran into a small problem though. As you can see from out here, let me take you outside and switch. Bingo! Look at that. Oh, nice, brandy new driveway. Can you believe that? Ooh, nice. Well, problem was I couldn't drive on it. So this is where I usually keep my tractor parked, right in this spot here. And as you can see, it can't go that way and drive on the driveway. So I had to back up. So I backed up through here. And I don't know how well this is going to come out on the video. But that there is a really, really steep hill. And so I had to back over, and I started backing in this direction, turning to my left, because I was sitting on the tractor backing up. And I got just about far enough so that my bucket would clear the corner of the shed. And I hit the brakes. And nothing happened. And things got really exciting. I was able to recover, get the tractor moving forward, got out of the situation without rolling the stupid thing down the hill backwards or me sideways and over. But that little bit of, let me switch it back. So that little bit of excitement made me decide that I needed to tear into this thing and do some brake work. I have no idea. This is going to be fun because I've seen a video, but I've never tried it. It's an interesting setup. I apologize that these videos are taking so long to come out. I haven't been sitting on my laurels, though. I haven't been doing nothing. As you can see here, let me switch you around. Woohoo! There we go. I have a mirror. I have one on each side. And basically what I did is, as you can see here, I just took a piece of flat stock. I twisted it around. I bent it into shape. I didn't even have to drill these holes because they were already drilled for the perfect size. It was unbelievable. It was like it was made for this. But it was all, this one and that one over there were one piece of metal. Just had to cut it in half, bend it, twist it, weld it into place, and put mirrors on. Works pretty good. The only thing was, and I was kind of afraid this was going to happen, was they vibrate, especially when we're using high RPMs on the tractor. The other thing I did was I put a toolbox on the fender. Got the Harbor, well, no, it wasn't Harbor Freight, was it? No, actually it was Walmart. Come to think of it, went to Walmart, bought this box. I think it was like $5. There was a, if you look over here on this fender, you see that little black plug there? That's a rubber plug. There's already a hole there. So what I did was I drilled holes. I put bolts down through. Oops, let me get you back in the frame here. Put bolts down through it and bolted it down. Now some of you are going to say, I know, but Howard, that plastic box isn't going to hold up. Well, actually it will. See if we can get you down in there and see some of the tools out of the way. You see there's a metal plate that I cut and jammed down in there and bolted into place. Now I have place for all my little pins and tools. Fun. So I got that. And finally, I knew I was going to be doing something with the tires eventually anyway. And I got looking and I said, God almighty, those wheels looked terrible. They were all rusted and nasty looking. So I went ahead and I painted them. And I didn't bother making videos of all this because, I mean, really simple bending and twisting and welding of metal, I didn't think you really cared to see that. And how many of you out there really would want to sit there and watch me scuff up rust and paint? Yeah, I didn't think so. So I didn't make a video of that either. But after I got done with the back wheels, there we go. Then I got looking at the front wheels, and I said, by God, those are pretty ugly too. So I painted those. So that's been what I've been up to for the past few weeks. Yeah, I know these are not, a couple weeks worth of work. But in addition to having the driveway resurfaced and everything else, it's been difficult for me to get the tractor in the garage where I can work on it. And then, like I say, I discovered that the brakes were crapola. Ooh, I got a light behind me. That's not good. There we go. So that's going to be the project for today, is pulling the tire off, pulling the brake apart, and seeing what I've got. I have a sneaking suspicion that these brakes are nothing but 1980s, which means probably full of asbestos technology stuff. Shadow here somewhere. So that's going to be the plan for today, is simply to pull things apart and just do an inspection. I'm going to try to keep this video as short as I possibly can because I've noticed that my videos tend to be a bit long-winded. Imagine that. Huh. So anyway, we will get started on that right now. Okay, there we go. All right, so, excuse me. This tractor has a kind of unique, I've never quite seen anything like it before. There's two, I don't know how well you can see this. I'm kind of sitting in the light. I don't really have a lot of space. I'm trying to keep my knee out of the way. There's two bolts. There's one here and one here. You have to loosen these bolts up. And there's a pin right here with a cotter key in it. And you pull that pin out. And then this whole thing, hub and everything, slides right off the shaft. I thought that was a gigantic nut. And come to find out it's not. It's the axle shaft. So I'm hoping that when I go to pull this off, this paint that I've put on here does not interfere with the movement of the tire off. I guess probably first thing I've got to do, though, is I've got to get this thing jacked up in the air. So I shall return. Okay, so I've tried to set you up as best I can. Unfortunately, I don't have a lot of space here, but I think you can see. I'm going to put my gloves on, just because I like wearing gloves when I do this. All right, so let me spin the wheel around a little bit here, and you can see better. We have two set screws. The heads are 19 millimeter. It's a Japanese tractor, so everything's in metric. There's also a pin back here. Let me see if I spin this wheel around just a little bit further. And there's a, it looks like a hairpin clip. This side might have been off at one point. The other side, I think, if I remember correctly looking at it, this is the driver's side, left side, whatever you want to call it. And the other side, I'm pretty sure, has a cotter pin. This one seems to have one of those hairpin clips. But anyway, to get this tire off, how you have to do it, you have to loosen up these two nuts, bolts, and pull the pin, pull the hairpin, take this pin out, and then this whole thing should slide off. This is your axle shaft. I thought it was a gigantic nut, but come to find out after reading the manual, it's not. It's your axle. That allows for you to be able to adjust the tire in and out. Now, quite honestly, with a tire this large, I really don't think there's a whole hell of a lot of adjustment left. So let's see if we can get this thing off of here. Let's get this set to lefty loosey. Come on. I know it's 19 millimeter because I tested it. There we go. Now you don't take these, supposedly anyway, you don't take these out. You just crack them loose. And right there. I got a little bit of a disadvantage here, guys and gals. If there's any gals watching, I'm sitting on a stool, but I'm over 6 feet tall. So I kind of have to dip my head to be able to see what I can't really see what I'm doing. So I'm doing this pretty much by feel. All right, so I think I got these loose enough now. Yeah, I think that feels pretty good. I'm going to give that a try, see what happens. All right. We get the pliers. Yep. Hairpin. Cool. I will probably replace the one on the other side if I'm correct, and that's a cotter key. I'll probably replace it with one of these, just because I like those better. They're reusable. You don't have to mess around. That paint is gonna bugger me up. I can almost guarantee it, but we shall overcome. I said one, for lack of a better term, there's got to be called a drive pin, maybe. Yeah, okay. Theoretically, and I always say theoretically, this should slide right off of here. We'll find out. Well, maybe need to loosen up those bolts a little bit more. I don't know how far those go into the shaft. I don't want to take them all the way out. I don't know if you guys can see this. There's a spring on each one of these. Guess what's going to happen to that bolt if I take it all the way out? Yeah, I'm going to be searching for parts for a while. So I'm going to avoid loosening this all the way. I'm hoping. I got a sneaking suspicion if I do take that out all the way, that it's going to be a bear to try to get back together. All right, let's try that. Oh boy. All right. Something's holding it, and I know it's not that pin. It's got to be these bolts. So we will keep loosening. I'm trying to do this by feel. Again, I can't see what I'm doing. So I'm going to try to go tender, gentle, easy, a little bit at a time. There's nothing else holding it that I know of. I'm only guessing there may be like indentations in the shaft that those bolts fit down into. I've just got to remove these enough so that they clear. That's a guess. That's a huge guess on my part. Got people, it's just... Try that. Nope, still not. I'm not sure how much. Well, this one here is loosened up a lot more than that one. I can tell just by looking at it. So let's... Well, that's loose enough to turn by hand. I just felt something give on that. Oh. Well, it's loose enough now so that I can actually take these bolts out. So I will just keep going. It appears that these aren't under that much pressure. So, all right, well, let's see what we got now. Yeah, definitely was not. Interesting. I think I'm going to have to go reread the manual and make sure that I'm doing this correctly, because near as I can tell, this is the way this comes apart. Unless I'm supposed to take all that apart and then undo the bolt. No, I can't do that because the hub is holding the wheel from the outside. Even if I take these bolts apart, that's not going to matter. The hub has to come with the wheel. So, all right. I got to go get my manual out and read, make sure I'm doing this correctly. I read it the other day. If that doesn't work, I may apply some mechanical persuasion, if you know what I mean. And I will be back. Okay. That didn't take long. I didn't even have to go in and search my database. As you can see, wheel and tires off. The Hershey sits over there. It was as I had feared. The white paint that I had put... Oops, wait a minute. Let me get you in a better position here. The white paint that I had put on the end of this axle shaft was really causing me a problem. So I went and got my drill with my grindy pad thingy on it. And I took the paint off, and with a little persuasion and a few cuss words, I was able to get it off. So what we're going to focus in on now, and this actually, I'm going to try to move my light. Let me see if I can get a better light on the subject here for you. Oh yeah, there we go. Now if I can just do this, like... All right, like that. How's that look? Ooh, good. Okay, this plate right here is where your brake is at. Believe it or not, surprise, 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 that's where they put it. It's not around the axle, it's in there. So, what I am going to do now, well, first thing I'm going to do, now, I don't know how well you can see this. Let me turn you just a little bit. And you can see right here. This is the adjuster. I got that wound in just as far as it'll go. And there's no more adjustment to it. So before I go taking anything apart, I am going to take the adjuster, and I'm trying to remember, 13 millimeter? No, not even close. Let's try 15 millimeter. Oh, my God, it's even bigger than that. 17 millimeter. Ah, look at that, like magic. All right, now, as is typical with any turnbuckle type of a thing, you have to have a righty-tighty and a lefty-loosey. And somewhere, I know, turn it the wrong way. Come on, break loose. Yeah, there we go. I tightened that sucker up, didn't I? Whew. All right. So what I'm going to do is, other way. Loosen this thing up. I'm not going to take it apart, but I'm going to loosen it up. Because when I get the new pads and the new shoes, same thing, and a new drum, which I'm hoping maybe I can have the drum resurfaced. I don't know. I will take it to somebody if I can see if I can get it resurfaced. I don't honestly believe that anyone has ever been in here before. I think it's a pretty good possibility that these will be 80s vintage parts that I'll be messing around with. And so, anyway, all right, you see how that works. I'm going to give you a break, not make you watch me do all that. I'll come back as soon as I got that loosened up. All right, I think I've got that as far as it needs to go. I'm a little reluctant to go too far, because if it comes apart, then I got to mess around to put it all back together, and that's not fun. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch over to some rubber gloves. Dr. Grant, calling Dr. Grant. You wanted the surgery, Dr. Grant. All right, first things first. When you're working on these brakes, it's just, I'm not sure what other models, but this is just my tractor. My tractor, by the way, and in case anybody's interested, is a Yanmar YM 186D. And that's a 3-cylinder diesel, and the D actually stands for 4-wheel drive. Yeah. Well, we're talking about the jacks here. So, anyway, I don't know why they called it D, but they did. I probably should have grabbed myself a cutter and just nipped these off. They can be a pain in the butt to try to get loose. Yeah, okay. I'm gonna have to get me some kind of a cutter here, I think, because that is not gonna want to come out of there. Yeah, that's pretty rusty. All it's doing is just bending. So I'm gonna have to get a cutter. Maybe something I can put into that little hole. Pry it out. Covered in grease, can't see much. Yeah, all right. I'm gonna go get a cutter, and I'll be back. Okay, I had to move the camera out of the way, get in there and get that pin out. And after much wailing and gnashing of teeth, I was able to do it. All right, so reach around behind, You take the pin out, and you take the brake rod out of the way. Very good. All right, now, in all likelihood, definitely going to be more metric stuff, and based solely on the look of it. Maybe. Woo-hoo, look at that. God, I am good. Even with metric. Maybe an extension would come in handy. Okay, so we have 4 bolts. And these come out all the way out. I'm just going to break them loose with the ratchet. Whoop. Come on. you little. Never fails, does it? Does it? I mean, guys, I'm sure, you know, if you've watched any of my shows, which has been 2, if you watch any of them, you say to yourself, I've been there. I've done that. I didn't even get a t-shirt for it. So, I could have brought my adapter and done this with my drill. But whatever. Should have my little magnetic collection tray over here too, come to think of it. Well, I'll deal with that later. Right now, I just want to get this apart so I can show you guys what I'm dealing with here. Now I'm told that getting this plate off can be a bit of a bear. By the way, for anybody out there that's interested, Hoy Tractor, H-O-Y-E Tractor, is an excellent resource for a lot of this. They have a video on their site that also details taking this thing apart. So if you're interested in that, head on over to Hoy Tractor. This is probably most likely going to be the place where I get my parts for this tractor, because quite honestly, Hoy Tractor is just about the schnizzle. All right, you know what I'm going to do too? Where did I put that? Where did I put that? Where did I put that? Okay. Here it is. A little bit of carb cleaner. Kind of get rid of some of the crud here before I open this up. Would be a good idea. And anybody says, oh, carb cleaner. Alright, carb cleaner, brake cleaner, they're all the same damn thing, really. There's really not a whole hell of a lot of difference between them. Alright. Now, let's see if I can pop this thing loose. I may have to get some persuasion in the form of a rubber mallet. And I think that's exactly what I'm going to need. Yeah. Alright, so what they tapping on that, it's not going to really hurt anything. All this is just a way to move there's a cam inside here that spreads those shoes about. A lot similar in function to like a tractor trailer. Only instead of a rod on a lever, you have maxi cams that move the lever, and that's what sets your brakes when you release the air pressure. So I'm going to go get me a rubber mallet, and I will be right back with you momentarily. Alright, let's see what we get here. Oh, look at that. Slicker than snuts on a doorknob. And, ooh boy. Actually, these shoes, they don't look too badly worn down. But there's a lot of mud and a lot of grease and a lot of gunk. And I think what I'm probably going to do, now let's take a look at the, I don't think, yeah, there's a little bit of roughness, but look at the crap, look at the mud that's built up inside there. It's no wonder. So what I'm going to end up having to do is I'm going to have to pull these drums out. I'm going to have to clean these, take a scraper and clean that gasket off of there. And I'm going to have to clean these up. I think I'm probably going to end up, as I'm feeling, let me get my, maybe you can hear it. It's got some scoring. So I'm going to replace those shoes. I think I'm going to see if I can take this and get it resurfaced. I don't know if there's going to be anybody around here. And now it's going to be interesting is how the hell do I get that nut off of there? That's going to be fun. But I'm guessing that, I don't know, maybe I've got to try to set the other brake on the other set the brake on the other side and see if that holds it while I try to get that nut off of there. This is going to be fun. All right, well, I'm going to work on that, and we'll see what happens. I may end up having to get the impact wrench out, but we'll see. All right, apologize for not putting that on tape, but there was a lot involved. I got the mating surface for the gasket pretty well cleaned up. I was able to get the brake drum out, finally. I don't know how well you can see that. Yeah, let's get some light. There we go. You can see that it's pretty cruddy, and if you feel on the inside, it took a bit of doing. Had to get the vice grips on it and hammer it with a hammer before that finally would pop loose. The nut holding it is a 30 millimeter. Let's get some light here. All right, can you see that? No. Turn it around. That's better. Okay, 30 millimeter. This one was righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. I'm not sure if the other side is going to be the same. I think it will, simply because you have these locking tabs. There. Stay. Damn you. All right. This little tab goes into a slot on the shaft, and then this part here gets bent over. And let me tell you what, it is no easy task to get that unbent. I actually didn't even get it completely unbent, but I was finally able to get a impact gun on it and pop it loose. It finally came out. The other thing I had to do is I had to take those vice grips, and I actually had to clamp, turn you that way a little bit, between the drum and the side and the housing, tractor housing. I put a pair of vice grips on there to clamp it. Then I was able to get the nut to come off. So anyway, I will post this up. I hope I haven't spent too long on this. My other ones are pretty long-winded. But I'll post this one up. I will go in and I will order up shoes. I have a suspicion these shoes, while they're not badly worn, I think they've gotten wet, which means, yeah, there's a lot of meat left on those, but I don't think they're worth reusing. I think I'll probably just change these out for new ones, and then get the drum resurfaced. Inside looks pretty good. Let's see if we can get you a decent angle. Down. Come on. Oh, sorry about that. I got this tripod thing I use. It's not the greatest in the world. Anyway, if you can see in here, I don't see a lot of grease. I think the seal is in good shape. And quite honestly, I'm inclined to leave it that way. But there's a lot of mud built up in here, rust and stuff. So I will get after that with a scraper and some brake cleaner or carb cleaner or whatever, and I will get this cleaned out. Once the new parts come, I will once the new parts come, I will do another video rather than try to put all this into one big long video. So please like, subscribe, comment. Any comments, quips, quotes, hate and discontent, whatever. But let me know how I'm doing. And if you think I'm doing something wrong, I'm sure I'm doing something wrong. That's a no. But yeah, I just want to know your thoughts, and think if there's something else I should be doing differently. So let me know. All right. As soon as the parts comes in, I'll let you know. And everybody have a great one. Bye.